Imagine boarding a plane for that dream vacation. You're excited, bags packed, ready for memories. But what if that trip of a lifetime suddenly lands you in a foreign emergency room, thousands of miles from your own trusted doctor and family? You see, this isn't just some rare, terrifying nightmare. Every single year, thousands of seniors over 70 face serious, preventable health crises during long trips. The truth is, your body after 70 responds very differently to extended travel than it used to. And what you don't know about these changes could literally save your life. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 6 critical medical realities about long-distance travel after 70 that most doctors simply won't explicitly tell you. Stick around until the very end, because by understanding these truths, you'll gain practical, easy-to-apply strategies to enjoy your golden years filled with joy, not unexpected emergencies. Your longevity truly depends on it. Section 1. Deep vein thrombosis, the silent threat in your legs. The first major concern many seniors face, especially when planning a long trip, is something called deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. This is when blood clots form in the deep veins, usually in your legs, during those long stretches of sitting. Think about those hours on a plane or even a lengthy drive. For folks over 70, the risk of DVT just skyrockets, and it's due to some very natural yet often overlooked changes happening inside your body. You see, as we get older, our blood naturally thickens a bit, protein levels shift, and those amazing vessels that carry our blood just lose some of their youthful elasticity. And those tiny valves in your leg veins, the ones that normally do such a good job of pushing blood back up towards your heart, well, they weaken over time. What happens then is a bit like a dam where the water can't flow freely, causing blood to pool in your lower extremities. Now, when you add gravity to this already compromised system, sitting for more than 4 hours, you're essentially creating the perfect environment for a blood clot to form. Here's the scary part, and this is why I feel it's so important to talk about this. A clot that forms in your leg doesn't always stay there. It can decide to take a journey of its own. Within just a few hours, a piece of that clot can break free, travel through your bloodstream, and head straight to your lungs, causing something called a pulmonary embolism, or PE. This blockage actually prevents oxygen from reaching your blood, and it can be fatal in minutes. And the truly terrifying thing about DVT is that it often develops without any obvious symptoms. You might feel nothing more than a slight cramping or a heavy feeling in your calf, something so easy to dismiss as just normal travel fatigue. I've seen this countless times in my practice, where a patient, like dear old Mr. Jenkins, thought he just had a Charlie horse after a cross-country flight, only to find himself in the ER a day later. So, what can we do? The solution is simple, yet incredibly effective. You absolutely must stand up and walk around a bit every 1 to 2 hours. If you can't walk, perhaps because you're in a car, practice simple leg exercises right in your seat. Flex your ankles up and down, rotate them in circles, and tighten and relax your calf muscles. And, crucially, drink plenty of plain water. Not coffee, not soda. Please. Don't just sit there hoping for the best. Actively protect your legs and your lungs. Make light movement a non-negotiable part of your journey. Of course, compression stockings can be very helpful too, but nothing truly replaces the simple act of moving your body and staying hydrated. If you're thinking, "Wow, I never realized sitting still could be so dangerous," please comment DVT below, so I know you're with me on this. Section 2. Weakened immune system. When far from home, even a cold can be serious. Now, let's talk about your immune system. At 70, it functions fundamentally differently than it did in your younger years. That little gland called the thymus, which produces our infection-fighting T cells, has shrunk to just a fraction of its original size. This means your body now generates fewer antibodies when exposed to new threats. And frankly, the ones you do produce, they respond much more slowly. This biological reality becomes absolutely critical when you travel to unfamiliar destinations. Your system might encounter bacteria, viruses, and parasites it has never faced before. Every region, every country, has its own unique microbial ecosystem, and your body might not be prepared. Think about it. The water in a different country can contain mineral compositions and bacterial strains your gut has no defenses against. The air conditioning systems in hotels, even fancy ones, can harbor molds and allergens unique to that. These aren't minor inconveniences. No, these are medical crises that can escalate rapidly when you're thousands of miles from your prescribing physician. The sheer mental load of recalculating medication times while you're jet-lagged and exhausted, well, it can overwhelm even the sharpest of minds. You're trying to remember which pills you've already taken, all while your body insists it's a completely different time of day. I remember Mr. Harrison, a patient of mine, who missed a critical heart medication dose because his checked luggage, containing all his carefully organized pill boxes, was delayed on a trip to Rome. Imagine that panic. Travelers frequently discover they've packed critical medications in checked luggage that unfortunately gets lost or delayed. This leaves them without essential prescriptions in foreign countries where pharmacies may not stock the same formulations or, even worse, may require prescriptions that your doctor simply cannot easily transmit internationally. Travel stress, believe it or not, fundamentally alters how your body metabolizes medications. Elevated cortisol from the anxiety of navigating busy airports, dealing with unexpected delays, and adapting to new environments, well, it can actually change your liver enzyme activity. And the combination of altered sleep patterns, different meal times, and physical exhaustion ideally creates a pharmacological perfect storm where your standard doses no longer produce standard results. Sometimes, side effects you've never experienced at home suddenly emerge during travel. Blood pressure medications, when combined with airplane dehydration, can cause dizziness severe enough to make walking through those busy terminals downright dangerous. Anti-anxiety drugs might interact unpredictably with disrupted sleep cycles, leading to confusion or even memory lapses. Pain medications for arthritis, if taken on an empty stomach during rushed airport connections, can trigger gastric bleeding. And diuretics? They create urgent bathroom needs during long flights where your movement is restricted, forcing you to choose between medication compliance and, frankly, physical discomfort. So, what's the solution? Use a reliable, clearly labeled pill organizer. Set multiple alarms for each dose, adjusting to local time. And most importantly, consult your doctor or pharmacist before your trip to get a personalized medication schedule for your journey. Plan your medication schedule just like you plan your trip. It's just as vital. Don't try to guess. A quick chat with your healthcare team can prevent a major crisis. If you find this information helpful, please comment "Maybe as" to keep it top of mind. Section 4. Increased risk of falls in unfamiliar surroundings, more than just a trip. Your brain relies heavily on environmental familiarity to navigate space safely. At home, you know exactly where the furniture sits, how many steps lead to the bathroom, and which floor tiles might be slippery. This mental map operates automatically, requiring minimal conscious thought. But travel, well, it strips away this advantage entirely. Hotel rooms with different layouts, unfamiliar lighting conditions, and unexpected obstacles create scenarios where your spatial processing simply struggles to keep pace with your movements. Those age-related changes in your inner ear and proprioception, that's your body's amazing sense of its position in space, make balance increasingly fragile after 70. You compensate for these deficits at home through learned patterns and environmental predictability. But imagine yourself in a foreign hotel at 3 in the morning, disoriented from jet lag and needing the bathroom. Those compensatory mechanisms that fail you. You might misjudge distances, take a misstep, or trip over a piece of luggage placed in an unfamiliar spot. And your reaction time, already slowed by aging, often can't prevent the fall that follows. I've seen this happen with Mrs. Albright, a very independent lady who, on a dream trip to Italy, fractured her hip walking to the bathroom in a dimly lit hotel room. It changed everything. Research clearly reveals that seniors traveling internationally experience fall rates 3 times higher than their baseline risk at home. Uneven pavements in historic city centers, slick marble floors in hotel lobbies, and poorly lit stairwells in older buildings create hazards your home environment simply doesn't present. Foreign accommodations rarely meet the safety standards you've unconsciously adapted to. They might lack grab bars, adequate lighting, or non-slip surfaces in critical areas like bathrooms and entryways. The cognitive demand of constantly processing new information exhausts your mental resources. Navigating foreign transportation systems, converting currencies, reading maps, and communicating in unfamiliar languages drains the executive function reserves you need for basic safety awareness. By evening, mental fatigue often reaches levels where you're operating on cognitive autopilot, exactly when alertness matters most for preventing accidents. Your brain, overwhelmed by novelty, can start making errors in judgment that would never occur in your routine home environment. When falls happen away from home, the complications multiply exponentially. A fractured hip requires immediate surgery, but now you're facing procedures in hospitals where standards of care may differ dramatically from what you'd receive domestically. Anesthesia risks can increase when foreign medical teams lack access to your complete health records and previous surgical history. Post-operative infections often occur more frequently in unfamiliar hospital environments where antibiotic-resistant bacterial strains differ from those in your home country. The psychological trauma of falling in a foreign country creates lasting effects that, can outlive the physical injuries. The fear of falling again restricts mobility permanently, even after returning home. This anxiety-driven limitation accelerates the overall decline in independence as avoiding movement leads to muscle atrophy, weakened bones, and reduced cardiovascular fitness. What began as a single travel-related fall often marks the beginning of a downward spiral where confidence, capability, and quality of life diminish irreversibly. So, what's the smart approach? Wear familiar, non-slip footwear. When booking accommodations, ask for a ground floor room or one with grab bars in the bathroom. Always use ample lighting, especially at night. And most importantly, slow down and truly pay attention to your surroundings. Don't let a simple stumble become a life-altering fall. Take control of your environment. A little extra caution makes a huge difference in new places. If you've ever had a near miss while traveling, please comment "careful" so we know we're not alone. Section Fire. Stress on heart and lungs from altitude and climate changes. The hidden strain. Let's discuss your heart and lungs. Your cardiovascular system after 70 operates with significantly reduced reserve capacity compared to earlier decades. Your heart muscle has stiffened, arterial walls have lost elasticity, and your body's ability to regulate blood pressure has diminished. At home, in familiar climate conditions and at sea level, your system generally maintains equilibrium. But travel to destinations with dramatically different altitudes or weather patterns forces your heart and lungs to work exponentially harder just to maintain basic function. Altitude affects oxygen availability in ways that challenge even healthy aging bodies. At elevations above 5,000 feet, the air contains substantially less oxygen per breath. Your heart must pump faster and harder to deliver adequate oxygen to organs and tissues. For someone with pre-existing coronary artery disease, even mild narrowing that causes no symptoms at sea level becomes critically significant at altitude. The reduced oxygen forces your heart to strain against compromised blood vessels, dramatically increasing the risk of angina, arrhythmias, or even a full cardiac arrest. Our commercial aircraft cabins, pressurized to the equivalent of 6,000 to 8,000 feet elevation. This means that, well, every long flight subjects your cardiovascular system to hours of altitude stress. Your blood oxygen saturation drops, sometimes by 10 to 15% below normal levels. Now, for passengers with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, heart failure, or anemia, this reduction can trigger a cascade of serious complications. Fluid accumulates in the lungs more readily, breathing becomes labored, and the heart races, trying to compensate for insufficient oxygenation. Temperature extremes place different but equally dangerous demands on your system. Traveling from winter cold to tropical heat forces rapid cardiovascular adjustments that your aging body struggles to execute smoothly. In hot climates, your heart works overtime, pumping blood to skin surfaces for cooling, while simultaneously maintaining adequate circulation to vital organs. Blood pressure can fluctuate unpredictably as vessels dilate and constrict, trying to regulate core temperature. Dehydration occurs more rapidly than you realize, thickening your blood and increasing cardiac workload. Furthermore, humidity levels affect respiratory function in ways most travelers never even consider. Very dry air, common in aircraft cabins and desert climates, irritates airways and thickens mucus, making breathing more difficult for anyone with asthma or chronic bronchitis. Conversely, in extremely humid tropical environments, the air can feel suffocating because saturated air prevents efficient evaporative cooling, forcing your respiratory system to work harder with every single breath. Warning signs often appear subtle initially, but believe me, they can progress rapidly into emergencies. Unusual shortness of breath, persistent chest tightness, an irregular heartbeat, sudden severe fatigue, or swelling in your ankles and feet all indicate your cardiovascular system is failing to adapt. Dizziness, confusion, or feeling faint signals inadequate blood flow to your brain. These symptoms demand immediate medical attention. But, recognizing their significance while attributing them to normal travel fatigue often causes dangerous delays in treatment. By the time the severity becomes undeniable, irreversible damage may have already occurred to your heart muscle or brain tissue. So, my advice here is to consult your doctor about traveling to high-altitude areas or places with extreme climates. Always stay well hydrated. Listen to your body and don't try to overdo it in the first day or two. If you're flying, ask your doctor if supplemental oxygen might be appropriate for you. Protect your most vital organs. Don't push yourself to the limit. Understanding your body's limits is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. What surprised you most about the pressure on your heart and lungs when traveling? Please comment "Heart Health" below. Section 6. Financial and logistical realities of medical emergencies abroad. The unexpected cost. Finally, let's address a harsh truth that many people overlook until it's too late. The financial and logistical realities of medical emergencies in a foreign country. When a medical crisis strikes thousands of miles from home, these realities become painfully apparent within minutes. The fact is, most domestic health insurance plans, including Medicare, provide zero coverage for medical care outside the United States. That heart attack, stroke, or broken bone you experience suddenly becomes entirely your financial responsibility. Emergency room visits in popular tourist destinations routinely cost between $5,000 and $15,000, and that's before any actual treatment even begins. A hospital stay requiring surgery can easily exceed $100,000, often payable up front before doctors will proceed with necessary procedures. And those travel insurance policies marketed to seniors, they often contain exclusions that can render them nearly worthless precisely when you need them most. Medical evacuation, which is the process of transporting you back home for treatment, can cost anywhere between $25,000 and $250,000, depending on distance and medical complexity. Air ambulances require specialized medical teams and equipment, which isn't always easy to coordinate. Commercial flights, for instance, simply cannot accommodate passengers who need oxygen, IV medications, or continuous monitoring. Now, for seniors with multiple health conditions requiring life support during transport, the logistical challenges become, honestly, nearly insurmountable. Many evacuation insurance policies cap benefits at levels that are just insufficient to cover the actual costs, leaving families to fund the difference out of pocket. The quality disparity in international healthcare, well, it poses risks that go far beyond just the financial burden. Hospitals in developing countries may lack basic diagnostic equipment, sterile operating environments, or even adequately trained specialists. Blood supplies, in some cases, may not be screened properly for infectious diseases. Medications might be counterfeit or expired, which is, of course, extremely dangerous. Surgical instruments may be inadequately sterilized between procedures. And you know, these aren't rare exceptions in remote areas. They actually represent standard conditions in many popular tourist destinations, where modern facilities exist only in select urban centers. Family members often face agonizing decisions from thousands of miles away, receiving limited information through language barriers and unfamiliar medical systems. The financial pressure, well, it mounts hourly as bills accumulate without clear answers about when or how you can safely return home. Many seniors ultimately require family members to drain savings, liquidate assets, or even establish crowdfunding campaigns to cover medical costs that insurance refuses to pay, transforming what was supposed to be a joyful vacation into financial devastation. So, what's your best defense? Invest in comprehensive travel medical insurance that specifically covers pre-existing conditions and medical evacuation. Always carry a summary of your medical history and a list of all your medications. Make sure to note contact information for your embassy or consulate upon arrival. Don't let a medical emergency derail your golden years. Plan for the unexpected. It's an investment in your peace of mind, not just another policy. If you've ever been surprised by overseas medical costs, please comment insurance to remind others. As we wrap up our conversation today, we've explored 6 critical realities that can profoundly shape our golden years. But knowledge, my dear friends, is only truly powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important, one heartfelt question for you. What is the one small, tangible commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I will remember to stand and stretch on my next long trip. Or perhaps, I will finally look into comprehensive travel insurance that covers what I need. Maybe it's, I'll talk to my doctor about my medication schedule before my next flight. Please, share your personal commitment in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to take that crucial first step towards safer, happier journeys. One dear friend, a beloved parent, a grandparent, who genuinely needs to hear this message today. And please, please share it with them. You might just change their life or spare their family from immense worry and crushing financial devastation. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy, stay wise, and I'll be right here, ready to share more insights in our next video. Take good care.